Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Bree. Today's another trip down memory lane. I'm going back into the recesses of my brain to tell you some more childhood stories. And today I'm talking about my late 80s, early 90s obsession with karate and ninjas. Obviously, I was born in 82, so I got to see the Karate Kid on TV on a regular basis because it was always on. Also, I got to watch Ninja Turtles on the TV. In the early 90s, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter came out. Those were martial arts games. Mortal Kombat had a couple of several ninjas, in fact. The first game had Reptile, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero. Later games would add Smoke and, Noob Saibot and a whole bunch of others. And then female ninjas like Melina and Katana and Jade. So when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, I was begging, every day, begging my parents to let me take karate lessons. And they said no. But they got an idea off of watching the Karate Kid. No, it isn't mimicking the wax on, wax off and doing chores like the parents tricked their kid into doing on Kickin' It Old School, a movie you've probably never seen, but should absolutely check it out. I know what you're thinking. It's Jamie Kennedy. He kind of sort of sucks, but dude was awesome in Scream, so cut him some slack. But it's a breakdancing movie. I was a breakdancer as a kid, or as a teenager, so, it talks to me personally. But no, that's not what my parents did. What they did was they actually got me a book on karate, just like Daniel-san had in The Karate Kid. Now, I never got into kung fu movies, but that's a whole other topic for a whole other day. But I got into ninjas pretty early on, so I watched things like American Ninja and, obviously the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and, the aforementioned Mortal Kombat. They had a Saturday morning cartoon I watched. And I had Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden on the NES, Shinobi on the Genesis. So I was very obsessed with this whole martial arts concept, Now, there were a couple of reasons why I was really into martial arts. One, it's all over the TV. Everybody's doing martial arts or, karate. Even when you're watching comedies like, what's it called? Police Academy. You got the sound effects guy doing the kung fu stuff. Making the voices and faces and then doing the actual, martial arts stuff. So it was real big in that time period. So, I'm influenced by that. But there's also the secondary reason, which is I'm getting bullied at school a lot. Now, my dad did teach me how to box. He taught me how to throw punches and how to dodge and, land an uppercut, etc. That didn't help. I didn't have good hand-eye coordination. And I have underdeveloped fine motor skills and things of that nature. Don't have very good spatial awareness, so boxing was not going to help. Realistically, martial arts probably wouldn't have been any easier for me or better for me, but I was obsessed. So I got this book, and it was just it had an illustration and long paragraphs of text describing how to do the moves and the breathing and the meditation and all that stuff, because karate is not just about, punches and kicks and backflips and stuff. Although that's all I wanted to learn. So I got nothing out of the book because I'm reading it and I'm like, I don't know how to mimic this. I couldn't figure it out. So it was useless. It didn't help me none, just like it didn't help Daniel any in the movie. But I did at least marginally appreciate my parents for their attempt, even though it was kind of not a great attempt. But it was like, hey, you know what? Whatever. Not to mention the fact that they did let me watch every single one of the Three Ninjas and Surf Ninjas movies that Hollywood was pumping out. And yeah, I was a dork. I liked the Three Ninjas because they were ninjas. I didn't care that the movie had absolutely zero plot and the acting was atrocious. It's a kid's movie. What do you expect? Come on. Have you seen Little Monsters? Everybody loves to praise Hocus Pocus. That's like the gold standard. But everything else was like Halloween Town and witches and you know, that one where they're throwing newspapers that has Robert Englund playing a creepy old man. I don't even remember the name of it, and you probably even forgot he was in it. Yeah, I know. He played a creepy old man. Imagine that. No, kids' movies were... That's another topic for another day, but in general, they weren't high-quality films in the 90s. Hollywood didn't give a shit. They were just like, kids are stupid. They'll watch anything. We did. They knew better than us. But we still got occasionally, we got a hidden gem like Ninja Turtles to The Secret of the Ooze. Awesome fucking movie. Even Batman was doing martial arts, and he was trained by ninjas. So even Batman was kinda sort of a ninja. So I was obsessed with this stuff. I had no concept of Japanese culture or where any of this originated until I got into college and actually took a Japanese class and learned, you know, the history and developed a deeper appreciation for the people and the culture and everything else. Which, by the way, I want to point this out because I did a video on I'm not all into anime. I'm not into cartoons either. And I also did a video why I'm not that into JRPGs. And it isn't a Western versus Japanese thing. It's a JRPGs tend to look like animes and tend to be set in like fairy tale worlds, which are fine, but I prefer the D&D style action RPGs and dungeon crawlers that are set in a medieval, you know, deep fantasy, sword and sorcery type of setting. Now, there are some this is a tangent, I apologize, but there are some JRPGs that have that setting. Those are fun. And I do occasionally find a nugget, like Final Fantasy VII. Greatest fucking RPG I've ever played, of any style. So yeah, I'm not xenophobic. I want to put that out there. A lot of people have tried to accuse me of that. My girlfriend is half Latino, half African American, so, you know, that you know, I'm not trying to say, oh, I have a black friend. No. I grew up in Jackpot, Nevada. I was the only white kid in my school. Literally the only white kid in my class. So I have a deep appreciation for other cultures, and I respect other people. You know, I have Muslim friends and everything else. So that wasn't my issue with those. I just want to put that out there. I love Transformers. Those are Japanese. I love video games. PlayStation, Nintendo. Those are Japanese. So I know people have tried to accuse me of that, and I apologize if I've come off that way. I didn't mean to. And that's not really the issue. I love Japanese culture. I love Japanese food and music. I love J-pop. I even love K-pop. And I do like a lot. Actually, if I sat down and made a list of all the JRPGs I do like, there's more than 25 of them on that list. I want to be up front and clear. As far as anime goes, that's just like cartoons. I'm not really into hand-drawn stuff. You know, CGI cartoons are more tolerable for me. Things like Roger Rabbit, where it's a mixture of live action and animation, are a little bit more tolerable for me, but I just like people. You know, real flesh and blood people. I don't mind if there's like CGI characters in a movie, like Star Wars, you know, The Phantom Menace. They've got, you know, what's his face? Watto, he's CGI. Things like that. I'm okay with that. But getting back to martial arts and stuff, after I learned more about Japanese culture and developed a deeper appreciation for the people and, you know, what American imperialism did to their culture, which kind of sucks, by the way. We are the bad guys when it comes to Japan. They were not the bad guys. But, you know, we demonized them because, you know, Pearl Harbor. But we antagonized them to bomb us on purpose. So it wasn't like we were innocent. We were like going around, you know, we were the bully hitting them in the back of the head with a stick every day saying, you're hating yourself, until they got a brick and threw it in our face. So let's not demonize Japanese people. Let's get that out there. They're awesome people. I have some Japanese and Korean friends that I met in college. Great freaking people. Okay, I want to put that out there. Awesome people. Um, I know there are some leftists out there that are still gonna make accusations at me, and I don't give a shit. Eat it, eat your grandmother's cock for all I care. But here's the thing. Once I learned that, I did actually go back and rediscover and watch some of those Bruce Lee style, kung fu movies, and watch some of that, Shaolin monk stuff that they talk about in the Wu-Tang Clan CDs, because I got into Wu-Tang Clan because of that that docu-series, not docu-series, but that drama series on Hulu. Awesome series, by the way. Never was a fan of Wu-Tang Clan's music, but I absolutely deeply appreciate what the guys did for hip-hop and what they did, for, their contribution to pop culture and American society. Thumbs up for that. So once I actually went back and started watching some of these old movies, one, I really did notice a lot of the xenophobia and racism that I missed out on as a kid. The very first episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the police officer's talking to the news reporter, and she's like, how do you know it was ninjas that did this? And he's like, easy, the rope was made in Japan. Oops. That's a no-no. Don't. Anyways, yeah, I never noticed that stuff as a kid, but today, I just want to say, obviously, I never learned any martial arts. My nephew did. My nephew, I'm not going to say his name, none of your business, but he actually took actual karate lessons. He was the only kid any of my sisters let take karate lessons, and he was the only kid that was actually interested in it. So they did, and also, he's probably on the spectrum, but they never really got him diagnosed, but he's on the spectrum somewhere. Either ADHD or autistic or bipolar, we don't know. But I guarantee you he's neurodivergent. 100%. But they let him do karate because he desperately needed something to focus on, because the kid had more energy than they could handle. They could not contain him. And so that was a good thing. Bad things came out of it that are none of your business. I'm just going to say, police your kids if you're going to let them take martial arts. But they did at least, recognize that it was something that was beneficial to him, at least marginally. Now, his sister did ballet, which was also awesome. I loved going to her ballet recitals and videotaping her, doing her dances, because she was awesome at it. And I liked videotaping his karate lessons, his karate, what are they called? Not recitals, but demonstrations or whatever. Pretty cool stuff. And I also, on my other channel, showed off one of my D&D books, Oriental Adventures. Yeah, the title alone is problematic, but it goes into great detail trying to create a Japanese-style, Asian-style mythology that you can bring into Dungeons & Dragons. So if you want to recreate a Secret of Evermore type, Final Fantasy type-esque Japanese RPG feel in your D&D game, they unfortunately haven't done an Oriental Adventures, and they should probably change the name, since 3rd edition or 3.5 edition of Dungeons & Dragons. That version is still mostly compatible with 5e and the current, I'm going to call it 6e, you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to maintain it's 6th edition until the day I die, but I don't care what everybody else says. Y'all do what you want to do. There's dipshits out there that keep calling Super Mario Brothers bros, so obviously all my bitching on the internet isn't going to change the world, but I'm still going to bitch on the internet because I'm kind of a bitch. But after I, got that immersion in Japanese culture, because I got to take a Japanese class with other Asian kids, mostly Chinese kids, but there were a couple of South Korean kids in my class, and I got to meet actual Japanese students, and we got to try mochi and sushi and all that fun stuff, and we got to dress up in Japanese traditional Japanese attire, and listen to their music and watch some of their television programs. It was really awesome. And I loved that aspect of it, and that made me realize that American 80s pop culture representation of Asian culture, specifically martial arts and ninjas in particular, was way off the fucking mark. But it was still cool that it was a gateway to... Because the only reason I took Japanese in the first place was because of my aforementioned obsession with, believe it or not, Japanese culture. Because I did try to get into anime and JRPGs. I played them all. Lunar, Secret of Mana, Tales of Symphonia, Chrono Trigger. I was like, desperately trying to get into this. And I was watching all the anime, Dragon Ball Z and Slayers and Sailor Moon and all that stuff. Because it was fascinating, but as I was going along, I was like, this just really isn't for me. And that's okay. It's not for everybody. So if you're going to explore a culture that's different from your own, try to at least do some research, and if you can, reach out to people who grew up in that culture, and try to be respectful and accurate is what I'm trying to get at. Because that's the least you could do, especially if you're a white person, because if you live in an imperialist nation, you have to be sensitive to the fact that we have influenced their cultures in a way that they didn't ask for. So you have to be mindful of that. Stay cool.